Last time, we saw our protagonist come in contact with Cooler. While they thought they were going to have a climactic battle with Frieza, it turns out defeating him wasn't too hard, but his brother, that was the real problem. But amidst the battle, Kakarot and Ruda evolved, gaining a brand new power, and no one really knows what it is. Will they be able to access it though? We'll be seeing all that and more in this part 6 of What If Bardock Raised Kakarot. Gine and Raditz teleport over to where Kakarot and Ruda are. Both have now fallen unconscious. Bardock is also barely able to get up, then coming over as well. What was that power that he felt? He saw a golden glow, but he didn't really see much else happen. All he felt was Kakarot and Ruda's energy spiking. But Vegeta butts in. There's no doubt about it. Those two, they became Super Saiyans. There's no other explanation. That power increase, that golden hair, that transformation. Super Saiyan must be that, some sort of transformation that Saiyans can get. And those two have done it. And with both of them still being unconscious, they might not even realize it yet. When they do regain consciousness, they're mainly surprised that they did win there. They thought they were done for sure, but no, they actually did eliminate Cooler. They're not sure how they did it, but they became Super Saiyans. And now, they need to figure out what to do to get that power back and maintain it. And with the two of them being how they are, the two immediately jump into doing that. They kind of think that it might have come out of a mix of sheer emotions and sheer willpower. Something with that, because that's what happened against Cooler. They have no other idea of how it might have been activated. They need it for themselves now. They need to try and figure out how to access it. And they also vaguely do remember how it feels to transform and to maintain it. They try their hardest to replicate it, and try to replicate those same emotions they felt against Cooler. And eventually, Kakarot's able to do it, with Ruda doing it right after. Of course, they don't have perfect control over this. They barely have control in the first place. But now they know how to transform into it at least, and the next step is to learn to actually use it. But not just that, seeing if everyone else can get the same form as well. Of course, the rest of the family wants it, with Vegeta and Nappa also thinking that they need it too, but at the same time they feel like maybe they could discover it on their own. They don't want to stay around this family any longer. They kind of want to go off on their own. Especially Vegeta. If he's going to become a Super Saiyan, it's going to be on his own terms. He'll figure out a way to do so. He knows he can. He's an elite prince after all. He's definitely got that power in there somewhere. Gine gets more into training. While she wasn't really too much of a fighter before, all the recent events kind of pushed her into doing so. And not to mention, her whole family is fighters, so it's natural that they're going to rub off on her. And Bardock's pretty happy because not only is his wife now a new training partner, or rather a consistent one, but she's improved a lot as a warrior from when she last was one. Back when she was part of Bardock's squad, she wasn't really the greatest warrior, but now she's a lot better as a fighter. And he's glad to finally fight alongside her again, instead of only having her help a little bit in battles. And Bardock wonders, when is his family going to become Super Saiyans? If that's even possible. It might just be exclusive to Kakarot and Ruda. He doesn't know for sure. They still have no clue what Super Saiyan is. But Bardock has a strange vision one day. It's his whole family, standing together, and it almost looks like all of them are Super Saiyans. He can't tell for sure if that's what it is, but it does kind of seem like that. But it's weird because all the visions that he's had so far have been warning him of threats. Like for example, Cooler. He saw that so long ago, thinking it was Frieza actually, but it did turn out to be Cooler, a new threat. And remembering back to it, it did seem like it was just Cooler arriving on Yardrat. The vision's very brief, and he wonders why he sees it in the first place. And he tries to take note of the location this time. He can't really tell where it is, but it's definitely not Yardrat. That's kind of strange. All the clues he has is that they can access that power, and they eventually will be able to, and it's gonna be on some other planet maybe. He just hopes they're not fighting some sort of terrifying opponent. At least one that's gonna bring about their death. But them fighting together as Super Saiyans, that's definitely gonna be pretty fun. He just wonders what's gonna bring it on, because it's definitely not gonna be anything normal. And now we enter a pretty sizable time skip. The family pretty much enjoys their lives as is. There's no threats out there for them to face. About 2 years pass in total. Frieza's army is gone. Cooler's dead. King Cold's dead. So there's nothing left to worry about with that army. Vegeta and Nappa are out there, but as far as this family's concerned, they're allies now. Raditz even got a scouter from them too, which is a pretty great way to contact them whenever he needs. Or vice versa. It's not like he's going to talk to them all the time. I mean, it's pretty awkward anyways, and he doesn't have a need to. But it's there in case anyone needs to contact them. And sometime after the time skip, sure enough, Raditz is contacted out of the blue, and he can't really believe it. He didn't really expect that, and he wonders if they need something. And they actually do need something. Vegeta and Nappa are on some random planet right now. It was one that was previously owned by Frieza, and they basically just use it as their own base. I mean, it's not like anyone else is living there or using it, and it's a good place for them to just stay for now. But somehow, someone was able to find them there. Vegeta and Nappa tell Raditz that they learned about something pretty strange. They were visited by what appears to be another Saiyan, and something's really suspicious about this guy. Apparently it has to do with them making some sort of new Planet Vegeta, and he really has no clue of what's going on. He's mainly asking if Raditz knows anything about it, and then Raditz hears another man on the line, that other Saiyan that Vegeta was talking about, asking for them to come here. The more Saiyans, the merrier. It is a new Planet Vegeta after all. Since Vegeta and Nappa aren't too sure if they could trust this guy either, it will be better to have some allies with them. They power up, making the man kind of cower in fear of how strong they are, surprised at the strength of Vegeta. And then out of nowhere, a group then teleports in. It's not just Raditz, it's his entire family actually. They see a man kneeling there, looking surprised, not only at Vegeta's power, but to see these people just teleport here somehow. He clearly is a Saiyan, and he introduces himself. His name is Paragus. He's been looking for Vegeta forever, wanting to make a new planet in his name. They'll restart Saiyan society, and with all these people here, it's definitely going to make it even easier. There is one issue though. There's a Saiyan that's been attacking them, an evil Saiyan actually. So it's not just Paragus, but there's also another Saiyan out there apparently. Vegeta needs to defend his new throne, and Paragus needs his help. He also says he has his own son there too. And while everything seems kinda off-putting, the family isn't really too concerned because if they do encounter any sort of threat there, they're more than confident in their current powers. And Vegeta kinda guessed that too. He and Nappa have grown a lot stronger since they last met. Honestly, the main reason that Vegeta contacted Raditz is because if he needed to get out of there, being able to teleport out of the planet is a pretty good way to do so. For all he knows, he could be walking to some sort of trap. Or flying into it, I guess, because now the ship takes off, heading towards that new planet Vegeta. Of course, Paragus is leading him into this trap. He has a pretty good trap for Vegeta, and it's good that the others are getting involved too because they seem to be his lackeys. Either way, the only thing he really wants is for Vegeta to die. And it seems like he is going to get that wish. And once they arrive on the planet, they meet his son. Or at least they kind of meet him because Paragus keeps him away. It's Broly, who looks to be a pretty, well, not intimidating Saiyan. He's not very talkative and he seems kind of weak on the surface. Except at one point when Kakarot and Bardock notice something. When they lock eyes with Broly, something snaps within him. He seems to start getting angry, and they're not sure why. Is he just like sizing them up or something? No, that can't be it. It has to be something else. And Bardock tries to remember. Broly. Where did he hear that name before? Paragus is able to control Broly at first, but Bardock begins racking his mind trying to remember where he heard it. And he feels like he might have heard it when Kakarot was first born. Like right away after he was born, he was in a nursery with one other Saiyan. That might have been where he saw the name Broly. In case it's not clear now, we're going with Z Broly for this one and not Super Broly. But he wonders why Broly seemed to get angry when he saw them. Even Ruda he was somewhat angry with due to her resemblance to Bardock. But he can't really tell what it was, and it's irking him because Bardock thinks something is wrong here. Everything about this doesn't seem right, but especially that Broly guy. And at one point, it's too much for him to control, especially with all these people that look like Kakarot, especially Bardock who literally just looks like the spitting image of him. Paragus tries his best to calm Broly down, but doesn't work. He can't control the power. Broly can't contain it, and they realize a fight's about to break out. And Kakarot's ready for it. He'll stand up against the Saiyan because he doesn't think that he's going to be any sort of a challenge. But that power, he starts to feel it, and he realizes that this guy might be stronger than he looks. Paragus begins panicking and immediately runs away, trying to see if he could escape. He already knows they're doomed here. Well, at least Vegeta's going to die. If not from the comet, then it's going to be from Broly. Broly powers up, surrounded by a fierce green orb. He bulks up considerably. First with his hair taking on a bluish hue, and then fully transforming as it turns greenish almost. The family stands together looking on in awe. Is this a Super Saiyan? This can't be, this doesn't look like it. And for a moment, Vegeta freezes, but he knows that this time he can't freeze again like he did against Cooler. And he simply just mutters out the words, Legendary Super Saiyan. That's what this guy is. He's no normal Super Saiyan. Well, normal relative to what a Super Saiyan is. And by now, everyone knows. Vegeta is then surrounded by his own fiery orb, transforming into a Super Saiyan himself, with Nappa also following suit. Raditz chuckles at the sight of this. So, they did access it after all. Well, it's only more proof that this guy's a freak because their Super Saiyan looks exactly like Kakarot and Ruda's, as well as the form Raditz, Gine, and Bardock have. Bardock's entire family powering up, showing off the same exact form. Kakarot and Ruda aren't the only Super Saiyans anymore. And even though this guy seems insanely powerful, with them banding together, they should be able to defeat him. Kakarot tells Vegeta they'll deal with this guy, and he asks him to go get Paragus. But Vegeta turns to Nappa, then commanding him to go off and find Paragus. Vegeta's not going to abandon this fight. He can't be embarrassed like he was against Cooler. And Nappa just follows Vegeta's orders, going after him. Bardock laughs to himself too, not surprised that they have it as well. As Nappa rushes off, aiming to kill Paragus pretty quickly. He kind of knows that he's going to be outmatched here, but at least he can get rid of that one guy for trying to trap them here. A nice little piece of vengeance for that disrespect. Broly wastes no time too. Once he's fully powered up, the onslaught begins. He shows off the power of a true legendary Super Saiyan, with his power growing as he fights. It doesn't stop. And at first it seems like the group is able to fend him off, but no, he's growing stronger. And Bardock thinks this makes no sense. He's supposed to be some incredibly powerful Super Saiyan, but how is he facing 6 of them at once? But Vegeta notes something interesting. He seems volatile. By now, everyone has a decent grasp on Super Saiyan. It's not like it's mastered and they have grade 4, but they have a really good grasp on it and can control it at least. And they've powered it up significantly. But it seems like Broly's not the same way. His Super Saiyan continues powering up. And he's almost like a ticking time bomb. Vegeta thinks that this form might be different. From what he knows about the legendary Super Saiyan, his power is bottomless. And that might bring on Broly's own demise. They just need to hold out against him for now. They might not be able to defeat him with their sheer power alone. But that's easier said than done, because Broly's attacks are just way too much to handle. Nappa eventually does find Paragus, killing him, and stopping him from escaping the planet, as he also finds the spaceship there. But he looks up in the sky and notices something strange. There's something rapidly approaching them, He saw it in the sky before, thinking it must have been some sort of faraway moon or something, but it's grown larger. There's a comet approaching the planet, it looks like. Before it was too small to notice, and now everyone's too preoccupied with Broly, but Nappa could see it clearly. With every second that passes, it grows larger and larger in the sky. He needs to let them know. Nappa flies over to the battle, seeing everyone pretty badly beaten up by Broly, and he lets them in on the news. They need to get off this planet. Can't those other guys just teleport away? Well, they can, but they kind of need an opening to do so. They know where to look for Yardrat, but they just need some sort of time to focus on it. Broly is far too distracting, not just with him attacking them, but his power is just so high that they can't really sense anything else out there. This is worse than they thought. They're gonna have to find some sort of way to get away from him, or a way to defeat him. And the former might actually be the harder option. But Gine has an idea. Well, if he is a ticking time bomb like Vegeta says, why don't they just set that bomb off? One powerful attack, that's all they need. But how's that supposed to work? They can't even defeat him as is. But she has a great idea. They just need someone to land the finishing blow. And Bardock knows exactly what she means. And he looks to Kakarot. He's the strongest of the group as of now. Bardock's been trying to catch up, but he knows Kakarot's taken the mantle, and he wants him to do this. Kakarot still doesn't know what's going on. But Gine explains, Force Spirit Fission isn't really going to work that well against Broly, but instead of taking Broly's power, why don't they just separate their own power and give it to someone else? Basically using Force Spirit Fission in reverse. They've done it before to fuel Kakarot and Ruda against Cooler, but this will be different. Kakarot needs to charge one massive attack, and Bardock asks him to channel the energy. It's one hell of a gamble, but it should work. Kakarot holds a hand out in front of him, and then jumps back. He raises that hand in the sky, telepathically communicating with them all. Lend him that energy. The family continues fighting Broly alongside Vegeta and Nappa. But as they fight, they use Force Spirit Fission on themselves to lend energy to Kakarot. And it's kind of tough to steal some from Broly, but they are able to take a little bit from him. This is basically using Force Spirit Fission in reverse. While they are taking some energy from Broly, most of it is just them sending their own energy out to somewhere else. Vegeta and Nappa remember this against Cooler, and reluctantly do give Kakarot some of their power, thinking that this is the best shot of it working. Broly looks around trying to find Kakarot again, but Ruda and Bardock take his focus. Fine then, he'll kill those two first, and he'll make Kakarot watch everything as well. He knows Kakarot's there somewhere. He's gonna make him suffer, as well as everyone else around him. And Kakarot's not gonna get away with this. His power continues growing, it's maximum, and these other Saiyans aren't gonna make it out of here alive. Kakarot continues charging energy. He's surrounded by a brilliant blue glow, with all the energy flowing into his hand, and then he holds his hand out in front of him, seeing a ball of energy charged in it. He grasps it, with all the power flowing into it. His hair flows fiercely, his aura grows more intense, gaining a blue hue as well. He could barely contain this power. Is this what Broly's power feels like? Being able to barely contain all that energy? He can't think on it for too long. All he knows is that he has to use this power against Broly while he has it, before it all leaks out. He teleports back into the battle, with Broly glad to finally see him again. Now we can slaughter Kakarot for good. He charges into Kakarot, with Kakarot blocking his attack with a single arm. And Broly can't believe it. He actually felt pain from that. But Kakarot blocked his attack. He didn't attack him. Why did that hurt? What changed about him? He shouts. His aura flares up once more. And Kakarot says this is where it ends for Broly. And now he finally remembers. He knows why Broly's mad at him. He remembers that brief moment where they're in the nursery together. Saiyans do have a great memory after all. And he taunts Broly. If his crying annoyed Broly as a kid, then Broly's probably gonna get really annoyed with what's about to happen next. And Kakarot's kinda glad to stick it to him. He jumps back, planting his feet firmly on the building nearby, using it as a footstool to launch himself off of, rocketing towards Broly at massive speeds. Broly whips his hand back, charging an attack, throwing it right at Kakarot. But Kakarot jumps right through it, with a fist out in front of him, cutting cleanly through Broly's attack, and then charging all his power into his fist right as he hits Broly, hitting him right in the spot where he was stabbed as a kid. Kakarot punches clean through him, and a deep blue glow fills the area. Broly's aura dissipates, and then is replaced by a fierce blue one. Broly's launched to the sky, and begins warping. The green and blue energy surrounds him. He can't contain it anymore. Kakarot's attack. It was a critical blow. Kakarot then tells everyone they need to get out of here. They all fly away, as far as possible, as Broly explodes in the distance. The meteor is getting closer and closer to the planet, but they still can't sense Yardrat. Broly's own energy is blocking it, especially with that attack that Kakarot launched. And as they're flying, it hits Bardock. That was his vision. That's what he saw. They would all stand together as Super Saiyans against a common enemy. But still, they're not able to get away from the planet. Although, there's one course of action they could take. The group all stands together, exactly mirroring Bardock's vision, except this time with Vegeta and Nappa. This comet won't defeat them, and they charge all their power together, launching a collective beam at the comet, completely disintegrating it, not only saving themselves, but inadvertently saving all the inhabitants of this planet too. And just as the comet's destroyed, Broly's energy fully dissipates, and they all power down. Vegeta says they didn't really need to do that, and Kakarot partially gets it, but also wanted to do it on a whim. Plus, he did have some extra power to get rid of. It would have been a shame to let it go to waste. Wait, he still had extra power? How strong was that attack he used against Broly? Well, they probably won't truly know, and this is where we'll leave off for now. What did you guys think about this part? And what's going to happen next time? Leave your thoughts and suggestions in the comments below. I'd love to see what you guys think. As usual, be sure to drop a like and subscribe if you haven't already, especially if you want to help support the channel and you want to see more videos like this. Anyways, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in my next video.